What's up? It's Tony back with another episode of the It's Tony podcast, and today is day 31 of posting every day on YouTube until my YouTube channel blows up. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Today, I want to begin by speaking on the new Big Sean album, Better Me Than You, and I think that this is a good album. I think that it has parts of it that is not good and that it could have made the album better, but I do think it's a good album. Towards the end of the review, I'm going to start to talk about another conversation, whether I feel like this album is the album that Big Sean needed to better his career and like take the next step of being not just a vet in the game, but actually a star. And I'm going to speak about that towards the end. But the first thing I want to speak about is the message of this album.
Message!
In my opinion, I think that this album is about the gift and the curse of wanting to bear the burden of other people and gift and a curse of being successful. In a lot of these songs, he gives himself a bunch of affirmations and he highlights the fact that he is him. Like, he knows that he is special. He knows that he is gifted. He knows that you can't just put him in a box. He knows that he is him. On songs like Iconic, on songs like Typecast and It Is What It Is with Gunna, he is explaining to his audience that I am him and I know that I'm him. And especially on Typecast, that's probably his best song on this album, in my opinion. On that song, his cadence, his voice, his delivery, everything is perfect to prove the point that, yo, I am him. You can't put me in a box and try to say that I am not as great as anybody else. I am Big Sean. I am that man. And on a song like Typecast, I believed it. On other songs like Iconic, he's speaking about the same thing of saying that he is him, but his tone, his delivery is off. And that is one of the biggest flaws of this album. His tone, his delivery, sometimes it doesn't pack the punch. Sometimes it's not impactful. Like, the things that he's saying is impactful and it means something, but the delivery behind it, it doesn't show that he means what he is saying. It doesn't show that he wants what he's saying to be impactful and mean something. But back to the message that he's trying to push to the audience, he understands that he is him. And on other songs, he talks about what comes with being him. He talks about what comes with being the savior, being the successful one in his community and in his family. There are a lot of people that have their hands out. And on some songs, he says that he's okay with the pressure. He's okay with helping people. And then on other songs, he talks about how sometimes being the one with everything and being the one with all of the resources and being him, it comes with bearing the burden of people using you. Like I said before, in some of the songs, he talks about wanting to be helpful and being generous. But then on other songs, he says, yo, I don't want to just give myself to everybody. And he doesn't have anything else to give. So he identifies that he is him. He identifies that there's a lot of things that come with being him, like wanting to help other people and also people wanting to use you because you are so nice and generous. Then he gets to another part of the album where he says, I'm okay with being helpful and I'm very generous, but I have to make a boundary because some of the people that want all of these things from me and some of these people that I want to help, they are taking advantage of me. Like on the song I Apologize, where it's directed and it seems like it's directed to Kanye West. And in this song, he talks about how whoever he's speaking about, I believe that is Kanye West, he says that they don't deserve him. On another song where he talks about people not deserving him, it's on a song called Black Void, where he feels like the woman that he's speaking about in that song doesn't deserve him, and that being with her is hurting himself. So if you keep track of the message, he talks about being him. Then he talks about what comes with being him, wanting to be helpful, but also being used. And then he talks about wanting to have boundaries because the people that are using him, so he wants to like shield himself and prioritize his peace. And based on that message alone, I think that's fire. I think he proves that point a lot. One thing that I believe he messed up with on this album, besides the tone of what he's saying, is the sequencing. The sequencing of this album, it takes away from his point, and on some of those songs where they're just a loose thread in the story, they are not needed. And on some of the songs that aren't needed, his tone shows that they're not needed. Like, Iconic was not needed if you had Precision and if you had Typecast. Both of those songs are talking about you being him, about you being that guy, about bigging yourself up, about uplifting yourself and giving yourself affirmations of knowing that you are the guy. Why do you need Iconic? On Iconic, everything he's saying sounds good. The beat sounds great, but his delivery is just off and it's not needed. And then another example of bad sequencing is when he has Apologize, then he goes to Clarity Skit. Both of those songs, Apologize and the Clarity Skit, they're deep songs. But then he goes to an uplifting song dedicated to his son. So he goes from, oh, you don't deserve me, he goes to Clarity, where it's basically, in my opinion, it's just a bunch of high thoughts. And then from those two like more serious songs that are in depth, he goes to a song dedicated to his son where it's very upbeat and talking about how he wants to pour all of his love and all of his lessons into his son. In my opinion, they shouldn't be next to each other. The sequencing is weird. The sequencing stinks. Some of the songs are not needed on this album to make it a good album. And even though I don't like his delivery or his tone, nor do I like the sequencing of this album, I still do think it's a good album. And I think it's a good message. I think it's a good message for people that aspire to be successful and want to help the people that they love. You may want to be successful so you can have a bunch of money and take care of a whole bunch of people, but you may not know what comes with wanting to help a whole bunch of people. The people that you may help, the people that you want to help, they may take advantage of you. And the lesson that you may have to learn with being successful and being the one that everybody can count on is that you have to prioritize yourself and your sanity and your peace before wanting to save everybody else. And that is why, I'm sorry, and that is why I would like to connect this album to Kendrick's album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. A lot of that album is him talking about him being the savior and him wanting to help other people before dealing with the stuff that hurt him and made him the person that he is. And towards the end of the album, he starts to realize, he has to choose himself instead of choosing everybody else and wanting to help everybody else. These two albums are similar. I do think that Kendrick's album is more deeper and is more concise, but they both have similar messages and they are both powerful albums. I do think that Big Sean has a great album with this album. Do I think it's a masterpiece or a classic or phenomenal? I don't know yet. Maybe it needs more time. And maybe the sequencing and some of the tone on this album may take away from me seeing it as that. I think that the message of this album is very impactful. And that's why I think that he should have been more intentional. And he should have sequenced this album way better. With sequencing, I think that he should have trimmed a lot of the fat off of this album. Some of these songs were just not needed. Even a song that I think was good and is a good idea, the Cash Cobain song. I think that's a great idea. I think the song is great, but I don't think it's great for this album. And I don't even think it's great for an artist like Big Sean. I think Drake would have done way better and done more with that song than Big Sean. And it just shows why he didn't need to have that song on this album. That's just one example. If you listen to this album, you're going to see the message of him wanting to be helpful because he knows that he can help other people, but he doesn't want to be used. And because he tends to feel like he is being used, he starts to put up boundaries and he starts to realize, you guys don't deserve me. So I'm going to prioritize myself and my family. And that message right there is fire. That message is why I think this is a good album. That message alone, if he was more intentional, if he was just, I don't know, I just think there's something missing with Big Sean. There's something that he is lacking. I don't think that it will get the flowers that it deserves. And the tone that he has in this album is one reason. The sequencing and the delivery of his message is another reason as well. But I think the big reason why this album won't get the justice and flower that it is due with the amazing message that it has is because Big Sean is not a star. He's just not a star. He's not a star. And he's him. Like, he's him. He's a great rapper, but he's not him. Like, it's not a consensus. Everybody thinks that you're him. And that's the thing that I think Big Sean has to work on. I think he has to work on his perception. I don't think that everybody views you as this great. I think everybody views you as a good rapper. And that is the problem. I don't know what you would have to do to change the perception, but that's your biggest flaw. If you were looked at as one of the greats, people would take this album way better than what I see them taking it as. Like, for instance, if you was Andre 3000, I think that they would listen and break down this album and really listen over and over to get your message. But you're not looked at as one of the greatest MCs of all time. So they're just going to listen to it and try to listen for bops and listen for, yo, can we play this song replay value? But some albums are not created so you can just play them over for a vibe. Some albums are created so you can play them over so you could get a message of them. So you can see what this artist was trying to tell you, what lessons, what message he was trying to give you. So I don't feel like you're gonna listen to this album and be able to play it over and over and like, damn, this vibe is crazy. This nigga's going crazy. And I don't think that's what he wanted to do. I think if that's what he wanted to do, just create a bunch of vibes that you could just make playlists out of and just play on the radio, I think that his tone would have been better. His delivery would have been better. And a lot of these songs where he's getting real deep into his piece and his mindset, he would have took them off. But he didn't. He didn't take them off. So that only leads me to believe that he wanted you guys to get a message. And for the sake of Big Sean, I hope that you guys got the message. I really hope that people got the message that he was trying to give. Because in my opinion, from my perspective, the message was great. The message was great. If I'm rating it, it gets a high 7. And for the question that I said in the beginning about was this the album that he needed, I answered it a little bit, but I don't think this was the album that he needed to like not to bring him up like even more, to bring his career up even more, because I don't think people are going to appreciate the message that he was trying to show and tell the audience. Some of the reviews that I've seen from this album, it made me want to speak on another topic. Why don't people appreciate when artists want to get into their peaceful, positive, healed bag? Like, I feel like there's enough artists that give you like the toxic or the drama-infused raps or the gangster raps. Why don't people appreciate when artists want to change from what they have already given you and go into the, yo, I'm pushing peace, I'm pushing positivity, I'm pushing healed? Why don't people appreciate that? Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. This is Tony from the It's Tony podcast, and today is day 31 of posting every day on YouTube until this channel blows up. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend and help this YouTube channel blow up. See you guys next time.